Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera everyone. My name is Nurul binti FRANKIE from Group PAD1042 Group 4. Today, my teammates and I will present on public policy, which is one student, one sport policy. Before I begin the presentation, let me introduce my teammates. In this group consists of 5 members including me, Nurul, NURAIN, Nazieana, NORSAHIRAN, and DARREL. Without further ado, let me start with introduction. Sports and fitness became very significant these days in the life of all humans on this earth. Sports should be an important part of a person's life. This is due to the benefits obtained in terms of health and increasing the remnants of nature and environment. Not only that, sports also involve the foundation of human skills which are used and developed for their own benefit. This one student, one sport policy was created on 9th of June 2011 by Malaysian Education Ministry. This policy was created for all students to participate in at least one sport activity in schools. In addition, it provides an opportunity for the purpose of all students to benefit their involvement, especially for students who are less and not active in sport activity. With this policy, it is able to provide an occasion for all talented and potential students in the sport they are involved in can be polished to the higher level. Not only that, it is also developing school sports in order to enhance student involvement in at least one sort of school sport. Next, I'll continue with the policy problem. The first policy problem is the availability of school infrastructure. As we know, the implementation of this policy is focused on the school division. It is clear that the availability of infrastructure in school is an essential basic requirement before this one student, one sport policy is being implemented, meaning that each school should adequate sports equipment requirements to ensure that all opportunity for physical activity can be maximized. If there are deficiencies in the preparation, such as playing field, less space, or insufficient equipment, will cause deficiencies in the implementation of this policy. Since all schools in Malaysia have been in country for many years, it necessarily requires improvement and upgrading in the basic needs of the school. Next, the second policy problem is sports option available in school. Most schools currently face insufficient equipment and sports facilities, and some of them are still not well cared and maintained. This resulted in limited sports options available in schools. As we know, this policy is focused on students, means it is crucial to know the students' personal interests in specific sports, so students will be more interested in participating in sport that interest them. Thus, the success of this policy will be achievable, right? Other than that, it is also very likely that the sports option available at school do not meet the needs of students in the physical activities of their choice. The third problem that encountered this policy is the ability differences among students. Not all students are having the same body or physical capabilities. There's one essential thing that should be considered under this one student, one sport policy is students' physical ability. For students who have strength and competence, physical abilities will be more interested and will be actively involved in the sports in which they participate. However, for students who do not have strength and competence, physical ability, or can be said inactive in sports activities will feel isolated because they cannot enjoy the sports activity held in school. As a result, they will lose interest and not be interested in participate in any of sports that will be held at the school, meaning that during their school years, this policy creates an additional hardship for them. Last but not least, the last problem is the lack of supports from parents. Unknowingly, parents' support for their children directly affects this one student, one sport policy, whether it is in terms of praise or condemnation. Parental supports play an important role in helping develop their children's interest in a field they are in or a sport they are interested in. However, nowadays there are still a number of parents who are more concerned about their children's academic excellence than their overall excellence in school. For students who only focus and pay attention to exam do not benefit and enjoy this policy.
Hi, my name is NURAIN. I will talk about main objective of one student, one sport policy. The first main objective of one student, one sport policy is to form character, identity, discipline, and good values. The one student, one sport policy is able to develop human capital through the comprehensive participation of students in sport activities throughout the year. The direction of our country's education policy is very clear, which is to produce human capital with a superior personality and a noble personality. Therefore, the one student, one sport policy can indirectly form character, identity, discipline, and good values among the students in the school. In addition, main objective of this policy is to cultivate a sport culture among students to become members of society who practice a healthy lifestyle. Sports activities can improve a person's fitness level and satisfy a student's natural instinct in physical activity. This is because the government is aware that more and more Malaysians are ignore sport in their lives because they are too busy with their daily routine. As a result, the number of people in Malaysia that suffering because of obesity increasing every year. This scenario is very detrimental because these people are usually inactive and suffer from various diseases that are dangerous. Malaysia were reported to be the most obese group in Asian countries and the most well-known in Asia in 2011. As a result, the government decision to implement the one student, one sport policy is timely in terms of fostering a lively and intelligent Malaysian community. It is clear that healthy lifestyle practice can be nurtured through this policy. Furthermore, if we look at it from a different perspective, the one student, one sport policy is able to foster interracial unity among the plural society in Malaysia. Unity is the key to Malaysia's success to be known internationally. For the past 55 years, Malaysia has served as an example to other countries throughout the world for its achievement in bringing together a diverse community. The government understands the necessity of individuals working together to establish a successful and harmonious Malaysia. Sports are the best signal in this way. Sports activity's success depends heavily on the atmosphere of cooperation and tolerance. One more thing, the one student, one sport policy can provide a balance between academic needs and physical needs. This policy can provide access to all students to get benefit from participation in sport, especially to students who are less or inactive. This day, many students became a bookworm because they are too concerned with their excellence and academic. They believe that participating in sport is a waste of time. Such perceptions need to be erased from the dictionary of the lives, as they need to allocate time to do physical fitness like playing football, swimming, and others, which is also for their own good. People believe that a healthy body can lead to a healthy brain. Students can concentrate on their study if they have a healthy body. They are able to come up with thoughtful ideas and critically and creatively. Students will succeed in their academic fields implicitly. In brief, the one student, one sport policy allows students to strike a balance between academic and physical needs. Last but not least, the one student, one sport policy is also able to create a platform towards sport excellence. This policy provides an opportunity for all talented and potential students to be polished to a higher level. Students can participate in more than one sport according to their ability, and sport offered by the school or conducted with the knowledge and concern of the school. Sports are actually one of the most popular activities. Athletes who achieve success will be known all around the world. They are adored and admired, and they can make millions of ringgit. They can not only contribute to the country's income, but they can also serve as ambassadors to improve the country's image on the global stage. The success of some of our athletes is Dato' Nicole and David, Dato' Lee Chong Wei, and others should be maintained. Indeed, efforts to elevate the country's sport arena to the international stage by fostering the emergence of feared national sport champion can be realized through this policy. That's all from me. Thank you.
I will explain about the actor involved in the policy. First of all, I want to explain what is the definition of an actor in policy. A policy actor is any individual or group who is directly or indirectly, formally or informally by the policy process at any level. They can include government, business, NGO, civil society, and community organizations, as well as individuals. A policy actor to influence the outcome of basic process through direct or indirect action. For example, policy actor can participate directly in the process of defining policy goals to achieve them. Or policy actor may also be those who are affected positively or negatively by the policy process. Thus, the term policy actor refers to a very broad definition of groups and individuals linked through their relationship with policy process and their outcomes. Besides Tan Sri Dato' Haji Muhyiddin bin Muhammad Yassin, who holds the position of Deputy Prime Minister, he has been appointed as the Ministry of Education in Malaysia since 2009 until 2015. On the 9 June 2011, he has launched the One Student, One Sport policy. That is because nowadays students are not active in sport and they need to be forced to get involved in the sport. They prefer to play online game where not much physical effort involved. Therefore, taking this matter into the consideration, our Ministry of Education in Malaysia have come up with a policy. In an article taken from the Star Online, the Deputy Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said that sport will be introduced to school timetables in years 2011 as a new subject. The Ministry of Education in Malaysia implements the one student one sport policy so that every student enjoy the benefit of sport, with the hope of forming the next generation that cultivates sport in line with academic needs. Next, school involved in the policy. Since students are a target group of the policy, the school itself is the main implementer of the policy. This policy is mandatory every student from Standard 4 in primary school up to Form 6 in secondary school to complete at least one supporting activity conducted in a planned and systematic way. The school will hold competition between level, classes, sport house, hotel, and school sport clubs. Here also, the school, which is the teacher, should be responsible to students to ensure that students come to school during sport program or activity are held. This is because some students consider sport not important and they are lazy to follow any sport event. As a teacher, should focus on this matter by taking appropriate action against students who skip for unreasonable reason. Other than that, parents also involved in policy. Parents' support directly impact on the policy of one student one support, either it is a ban or bond. Parents should be responsible for supporting their children to pursue an interest in sport. However, some parents do not allow their children to participate in sport because they are worried that their children's education will be affected. Last but not least, Ministry of Healthy and Ministry of the Youth and Sport, both of the ministry, to help fulfill the joint working objective between Ministry of Education and the key government agencies such as Ministry Healthy responsible for healthy issue, while the Ministry of Youth and Sport is responsible for youth sport, youth development, and youth organization in the country. Thank you, that's all from
Every school should conduct a survey to identify student interest in particular type of sport. This can be explained that in this way can form the information of a good personality as an example of discipline, improvement of health and well-being, and improvement of skill and communication is very important in the provision of infrastructure, basic facilities and equipment to carry out activities under the school sport program or choose a location outside the school should be appropriate and safe. This can be explained that every sport equipment or sport venue must be kept in a safe place. For example, sport equipment use must be in a good condition and not damaged, and the area of sport venue must be in the school so that nothing bad happens. Giving appreciation and recognition to students and teachers should also be given in order to improve the performance of students and teachers and be an example to the community. It can be explained that in the following way, the performance of students will increase as a result of the encouragement from the award, and teachers will be more enthusiastic in carrying out their responsibilities as an educator. All sport and games offer either inside or outside the school under the sport and games club must be identified in advance. It can be explained that in the following way can facilitate the management of sport selection. For example, students will be able to choose the sport they are interested in easily.
Assalamualaikum. Today I'm going to present about my part, which is the evolution and the effectiveness of the policy, which is the one sport, one student policy. This evolution based on the SWOT evolution, which is the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and traits. On the strengths, I have 2 points, which is the guiding student to the strenuous sport activities, and the second one is program implementation from the school. For the first point, which is the guiding student to the strenuous sport activities, the teachers on that school must guide the student to do anything that's something hard, like football, volleyball, or anything related, so that the student know the value of this sport. And the second one is program implementation from the school, which is that school must do any sport that really make the student to feel interest to be part of that. Next is weakness. The first point is the authorities do not want to spend money to make sport program in school a success. And the second point is some students feel too much pressure to do. Okay. For the first point, some of the sponsors from the school didn't want to invest their money because they think this kind of program is such a waste time, because they didn't know the benefit for the student. And for the second point is the student feel like they need to do something more, not just for not just they need to learn for the subject they take, also they need to take time for the sport. The third one is opportunities, which is the student that success in a sport field can only be obtained through hard work, proper planning, many efforts, and sacrifice. Which is any student that want to be part of this field must try their best to be qualified inside this field. Also, they must sacrifice some of their time, like when they have holiday, they must practice for the sport. So that's mean of the sacrifice. Okay. The last one is traits, which is the first point. Sport can make the student not interested in caring about his studies, which is some of the students just think that sport is more important for their life, not just, they didn't think about the other subject that they have taken. And the second point is students feel depressed and worried about their future in the event of any unwanted problem while playing sport. This means some students also think that the sport they take is like their future is depend on the sport. So let me take an example. For example, like the football sport, which is if the student like sprain their ankle, so they must be think that they cannot play the football anymore. Again, because the football is like the main part of the sport is leg. So if the leg is sprained or anything like that, they think they cannot play again. So that matters will make them feel depressed, because they think they don't have any use anymore. Hello again. For this part, I'm going to present about the recommendation on this policy. Some of the recommendation is give any consolation, gift or certificate as a token of appreciation to anyone involved in this sport. For example, when the school had any program related to sport, they should put in the banner like the notes like anyone who take part of this sport of this program and you win will get the reward such as certificate, any gift, hamper, something like that. So the student will feel like I should take part of this sport because it will give me any good in the future. And the second one is make cooperation with the Ministry of Sport to create large-scale sporting events. Like, to take an example, like the sepak takraw, the school and the Ministry of Sport can make the student that take part of this sport will feel happy that the hard work, the effort will be, they know that they're being appreciated by the school and the state. So they will do their best to be more good on this sport. The ministry and the school can make the student take part of the international sport. And that's all from what. Thank you.
Hello again. Now I'll continue with conclusion. In conclusion, this one student, one sport policy is very essential for all students to participate so that the objective of this policy can be successfully achieved. The main focus of this policy is to make a healthy social school environment, meaning that this policy wants all the students to involve and participate in at least one sport throughout the year, including the computer gamers, bookworm, and so on, to be physically active and get out of their comfort zone. Our country's educational program has a very clear goal in mind: to generate human capital with exceptional personalities and noble personalities. As a result, this policy can help students to develop character, identity, discipline, and positive value. This policy intends to develop school sports in order to increase student participation in at least one sort of sport during the school day. Nowadays, advancement in sports has become very important as it can create universal unity, foster peace, and also enhance the image of the country. With the implementation of this one student, one sport policy, the Malaysian Ministry of Education expects that every student will benefit and enjoy sports activity with the hope of forming the generation that always cultivates sports in accordance with academic necessity. It's the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your attention. Hope everyone can learn a new thing. Take care and stay safe. Assalamualaikum.